So, what are you hiding?
So it's day 46, and we are in Far Harbor, Vault 118 specifically. We are investigating a murder. RoboBrain had its case broken in by a baseball bat, and it was late, so we slept in one of these many available beds. And today we get to figure out who did it. So let's start up by questioning the people.
Hello, Detective. How can I help? Did you have questions about the case?
Well, yes, that's kind of the job. Let's start with a softball.
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
It's obviously Santiago. He keeps going back to look at the crime scene.
Let's take it up a notch.
I found your baseball bat at the crime scene. Care to explain how it got there?
Someone is clearly trying to frame me for the murder. It's probably Santiago. You saw him skulking around the crime scene.
What were you and Gilda talking about when I walked in?
Oh, we were just rehearsing a scene. Nothing to worry about.
That actually sounds legit.
Maybe later.
Okay. Just let me know how I can help. Forget it. I can't do this right now.
Where'd your co-star wander off to? I'm gonna poke around. Indeed, we got a Vault 118 Overseer's office key, and well, I'm guessing there's gonna be some sort of clue up there. And Overseer's offices usually tend to be upstairs, so let's oh, there we go. Let's see what we have in here. So no evidence from the computer, but we did get a holotape.
Progress on construction of the second wing of the vault is completely stalled. Once the premier area of the vault had been completed, funding seems to have been cut off. My supervisors have informed me that they haven't received payment from Mr. Parker, and Vault-Tec won't pay out of pocket to continue construction. I've repeatedly approached Ezra about the finances, but he keeps telling me that Mrs. Riggs hasn't transferred the funds. However, when I asked her, Juliana said that she had just given Ezra extra for the gold paint in the rooms. I've hired an investigator to look for signs of embezzlement in a few weeks.
Only open. Sounds like Ezra was embezzling from his investors.
Looks like we're getting some points from Valentine there. I'm poking around for a drinking fountain. I figured, oh, well, how about that? Figured while the tape was playing was an ideal time to do that. Always hit up the drinking fountains and vaults, about the only place you're gonna find purified water. Well, other than the ground, apparently. Alright, so it sounds like this guy's our prime suspect at the moment.
Well. If it isn't the long arm of the law. Tell me, are you a devotee of the arts? Does that cruel muse call you to her entrapping bosom?
Well, the short answer is no, but if it'll get him to talk...
Art is life. Without it, we are no different than animals.
Perhaps, if all we are is a sentience floating in a suit of flesh, or metal, I suppose, then art is the only true communion with the world. Come with me.
I like how the voice actor really went out of her way to dive into this part.
Tell me, what does this piece say to you?
It's about composition. The balance of colors and emotions and the struggle to maintain internal order.
Indeed. This was the last piece I did in a series of portraits of Gilda. Number 1378. Her emotional landscape is superimposed on the portrait. The reality of the subject is distorted as the ego attempts to project itself. This way. Tell me, what does this one say to you?
It's the war. Bombs from every direction. No up or down. The world turned on its head.
I suppose in a way it must be. Art shapes the world, and the world shapes art in return. All art must therefore be constantly reborn through the lens of contextual and historic interpretation. We must ascend.
very familiar with the stereotype that the voice actor's portraying here, but I'm wondering, are there actually people who talk like that? Maybe like our robot friend, but
And what about this one? And please be honest. For art without honesty is just politics.
It's cute, I guess. Some people like that kind of thing.
More than you would imagine. Truth be told, this is my best-selling piece. I did this series under a pseudonym, of course. This series has made more money than any
I
of
would
my
absolutely
previous
put that up on
ones.
my wall.
And I think the whole
That's
thing
kind
is
of
an art.
awesome.
What does that tell you about the value of art to the common man, huh?
Well, let's keep going.
My fellow connoisseur of the art. Here to see my latest work?
Well, is your latest work out in the the main hall by the baseball bat?
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
The person you should be looking at is Juliana Riggs. That Philistine would not know art from her own excrement. She and Ezra had a rather dramatic fight recently. You could hear her banshee screeches all the way across the hotel.
What were Juliana and Ezra arguing about?
I don't know. I was painting at the time and I was trying to block it out. Though I bet Gilda probably heard them. Maybe you should check with her.
I think you should explain why you keep returning to the crime
I think we know the
scene.
answer to
It's
this
for
one.
inspiration, detective. The others do not like to think about it, but even we shall die someday. Like Prometheus's torch, it kindles within me the fire to create as much art as I can with the time that I have.
It sounds like you've done a lot of paintings of Gilda. Why her?
Our Gilda is a very singular creature, detective. Do you not see the joie de vivre within her? I have never met another who clings to life so tenaciously, who lives so in the moment. I must admit I was quite smitten with her for a time.
You're still in love with Gilda, aren't you?
So what if I am? What business is it of yours?
Well, I'm the
Is there
detective. It's
someone
all my
who fully
business.
understands her ephemeral beauty, not that brute actor.
You know, I buy this guy's story too. You know, if you're a painter, then you're gonna be looking for inspiration, and that's probably the first inspiration he's had in 150 years.
Maybe later.
Good. I hope my paintings are able to open your mind to new possibilities.
So let's keep up with the rounds. What do we have in? Well, is there anything in this completely ignored room? Someone's brought a bed in here. You'd think that there'd be some like decaying sheets or something. Presumably they were all intact rooms. This isn't nothing. I suppose if you're trapped underground all this time,
You
this
think
is...
anyone actually felt like they were at the beach in here? Yeah, me neither.
I don't know. Give it long enough and your mind can trick you. It's nice that Nick has a lot of spoken lines in here. I don't think I've ever brought Nick to 1118 before.
Detective. I haven't seen someone with a body like that in far too
That's
long.
not quite the compliment that she thinks it is, but, you know, let's roll with it.
Can we talk about the murder?
Oh, boo, you're no fun. I suppose we can talk about the case, unless you'd rather hear some stories from my acting career.
Let's get her talking.
I must say, you're quite the actress.
What can I say? It just comes naturally. Surely you must be here for my salacious stories of the silver screen.
Have you ever done radio? Your voice is quite enchanting.
Well, darling, play your cards right, and maybe I'll whisper some sweet nothings in your ear.
I must say, I've known flesh and blood girls who aren't half the woman you are.
Keep it up, Tiger, and we'll find out if you can handle how much woman I am.
Why don't we grab a bottle of wine and go watch the sunset?
Sounds good, detective. That was great, detective, but we probably shouldn't make a habit of this. Catch you later, Tiger.
So, whoops. That wasn't exactly where I was hoping to send that, but still got to question you
Hey
about
there,
some
Tiger.
things.
Here for more stories about my acting career, or something else?
Can you answer some questions?
Sure, darling. What did you need?
Apparently, Juliana had a big argument with Ezra a few days before he died. Did you happen to overhear any of the conversation?
Oh, yes. I haven't seen a woman go off like that since Teresa Dubois fired her costume designer. But to get back to your question, it was fever pitch, Detective. She had apparently gone to the Overseer's office to check on the state of things and found it in horrible disrepair. But, and this is where it gets interesting, it sounded like she found something that really set her off. Couldn't hear what, though. Did you need something else?
I found Keith's baseball bat at the scene of the murder. Any thoughts on how it got there?
I don't know, Detective. I can't really imagine Keith killing Ezra.
I've gotten the impression you've had an affair with Santiago.
Look, I love Keith, I do. But sometimes he just can't give me the attention I need. A girl gets lonely, Detective. It only lasted a few dozen years. The man's a bit much, even for me.
Well, we already heard what Keith had to say about this, but let's ask her.
What were you and Keith talking about when I came in?
Oh, that? We were rehearsing. Gotta stay sharp if we're going to rebuild Hollywood. But Keith always gets flustered when he's upset.
I don't see any reason to think it's her, but you never know.
Maybe later.
I'll be around, languishing from your inattention.
I don't know if I've ever been called languishable before. So I came across a room that has some of these sanitizing stands, which strikes me as relatively unnecessary for a bunch of robo-brains, or maybe I don't understand. Well, let's see what's going on in here. Well, can't help but get the feeling that it's dirtier in here than it was out there, but
Hello, Mr. Whiskers. Who's a pretty kitty?
Juliana, Mr. Whiskers died last month. This is Scruffy. Remember?
Oh, of course. Silly me.
Just let me have a look at the neural interface matrix, and I'm sure I can clear that.
No, it's not that. I've just caught another cold. Probably something that got in when they sent Pearl out.
Oh, God. Not this again. Last month you were convinced you had the measles.
You're not a doctor. What would you even know about it? Besides, I think it may be malaria.
First of all, I am a doctor.
Yes, but not a real doctor. Robotics isn't an actual
I think
medical
they're
degree.
gonna have to forfeit
Secondly,
their
I've
deposit.
told you time and again, you can't get sick inside the suit. It's not physically possible.
I know when I'm
she's
getting
wearing a
hurt.
mask.
Now why don't you just wander off and play in your lab? Mr. Scruffy and I are going to rewrite the will, so he will get everything when I die because horrible Bert didn't believe me.
Oh, God, Juliana.
Have fun,
Whatever.
dear.
I'm going to the lab. Hello again. Did you need something?
I like your bow tie. Let's start with the general questions.
Did you have any thoughts about
The
The
murder?
Oh, well, that's not really my field of expertise, but I'm sure there are probably some clues at the crime scene.
Thanks.
Oh, was there something else, Detective?
I heard that Juliana and Ezra had an argument a few days before he was found dead. Tell me about that.
Well, I was in my lab at the time, so I didn't hear it. But Juliana has always been rather critical of Mr. Parker. I think she found something in the overseer's office. I wasn't listening when she told me about it. I kind of had my head in my research. I don't know, really. I try to let her handle all the money stuff.
I don't think any of the other ones had a tell me about yourself option, so if it's here.
Tell me about yourself.
Oh, well, I'm a scientist. You've probably met my wife, Juliana.
Well, she
already.
seems lovely.
Not sure what else to say, really.
Tell me about your research.
Well, I was one of the leads on the team that created the first robo-brains, the precursors to our model. Most people don't find it all that interesting, and I'd rather not bore you.
I sense clues.
I'd like to hear more about your research.
Oh, wonderful. No one else here really wants to talk about it.
Functionally, this model is more or less the same as the previous versions I worked on, but without the neural inhibitor and the reconditioning. The voice modulator seems to have some minor issues interfacing with the neural matrix, which can add some moodiness. But that's easily solved with regular tune-ups.
Robobrains have a voice modulator? Tell me about that.
That's what allows us to recreate our original voices. They can mimic any normal human voice, actually. I've speculated for some time that the issues we had with our recruited subjects is due to the brain attempting to preserve a sense of self. Maintaining our original voices helps reinforce the neural network, sort of like playing music for an Alzheimer patient. Was there something else, Detective?
Well, that sounds interesting enough. Let's see if this goes anywhere.
Never mind.
Very well. I'll just get back to my work then.
Hey, let me ask you something.
Sure, ask away.
It's just, with everything that's happened with you and your family, it's a whole hell of a lot to process. I wanted to make sure you're holding up all right.
So we have a couple of deep options here, but realistically, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Huh. You're a tougher nut than I thought. Tougher than I was. Took me a long damn time to get a feel for this place. Thank goodness I found Diamond City. It's got its flaws, sure, but it beats the hell out of anywhere else in the Commonwealth. Of course, when I took up there back when, people were just as scared of the Institute as they are now. Maybe more. The massacre of the CPG was still pretty fresh in people's minds at that point, and folks were still losing sleep over the broken mask. Plenty of people assumed I was just a saboteur, moving in to melt down the reactor or poison the drinking water. But at the time, they couldn't exactly turn me away.
Broken mask?
This was long before I'd moved to town, but apparently some gentleman type shows up in Diamond City, heads down to Power Noodles. Guess he didn't like the food because he pulled his pistol and opened fire on the folks enjoying theirs. When security finally put enough holes in him to drop him, they say he was full of servos and sprockets, just like yours truly.
But unlike
Seems
a
he
modern synth.
malfunctioned, went berserk. It was the first time people realized that synths had stopped looking like me and started looking like them. Considering what these folks went through, I felt real lucky they let me in the front gate at all.
Massacre of the CPG. What's that?
The Commonwealth Provisional Government. Years back, a group of settlements tried to get together and form a coalition. Every settlement with even a hint of clout sent representatives to try and hash out an agreement. Only the Institute sent a representative of their own, a synth. The man killed every rep at the talks. The Commonwealth Provisional Government was over before it even got off the ground. I took up in town not long after. I was damn lucky they didn't just tell me to scram right then and there.
So, while the term bigot is not too far-fetched, people tend to act irrationally when they're scared.
let me bother
And
you.
in the moment, while I wouldn't excuse it, I would understand it. But to that end,
Why'd they let you in?
Because I'd rescued the mayor's daughter.
oh, that's
Gal
a
of
pretty
about
good answer.
15. Pride and joy of the mayor back then. Man by the name of Henry Roberts. The young Miss Roberts decided she'd run off with some caravan hand she'd, known for an evening.
You're a
Turns out
detective.
the guy
You can
was
just
part of a
say
gang
it.
of kidnappers. I didn't even know who I was rescuing, just stumbled on a crying girl and 4 toughs. I took her home and the mayor dubbed me a hero, offered me a place in town. Lots of folks protested, said I was a spy, but he wouldn't have it. Taking up in the city was tricky at first, but I never tried to hide what I was, and people seemed to warm to that.
You took down 4 guys by yourself?
Well, I didn't have to. Back then, synths were even more of an unknown quantity than they are today. I told them I was rigged to explode and started going beep, beep, beep. Hardest part of that rescue was keeping from laughing as they climbed over each other to get away.
That's an awesome story. So this option here, I'd love to see a little context. Is this going to be accusatory or is this going to be joking? Let's hope for joking.
You're not a spy, right? Testing, testing. Hello, Institute, can you hear me? Hello.
Hell if I know. If I am, the Institute's plan to gather intel on all the runaways of the Commonwealth has been going off without a hitch.
Was it hard settling in?
Yeah, they sure didn't make it easy. I started off doing the jobs no one else wanted. I got more banged up being Diamond City's handyman than I ever did living out in the ruins. But I guess folks never forgot I rescued the mayor's daughter, so they started coming to me when people went missing. Wife runs off with a new paramour and takes the rent money with her. Talk to the synth. An upset father decides moving him and the kids to Good Neighbor in the dead of night's not the worst damn idea since the bomb. Go get Nick.
So that sounds like a story that
After a while,
happened.
the jobs got so backed up, they didn't even ask me to do the handyman stuff anymore. Hell, I was so happy to do it, it was months before I started charging anyone. I never stopped being Nick the Synth, but it was Nick the Detective folks came to see. It was about then that things finally started feeling normal. It took me a long time to realize that home is where you make it. And with some time and effort, this place can be home for you, too. That's a long story, but I hope it helps. Want to get moving?
That is a fantastic story. I'm glad I listened to all of it.
Hello.
Anyway,
Did you have a question about the heinous murder?
you seem surprisingly coherent for someone that didn't seem to know who they were a second ago.
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
If you ask me, it's one of those actors. Or that horrible painter. Their type is always the cause of violence.
I heard you had a big fight with Ezra a few days ago. Care to explain?
Oh, well, it wasn't that big a deal, really. He wanted more money to pay for repairs on the hotel. I wasn't feeling well that day and lashed out a bit at the poor man. I really should have listened to him more.
What does money have to do with anything anymore?
There's evidence Ezra was embezzling from his investors.
Oh, well, I really don't believe that. Mr. Parker wouldn't do such a thing, I'm sure.
What's with all the junk in here?
These are our things. We're just waiting till the war blows over so we can bring them back to the mansion.
Yeah, the mansion's not there anymore. Let's keep poking around.
Good luck catching the murderer, Detective.
So I noticed there's only one map marker left. And it seems to be pointing me back to Juliana. So let's see if I'm missing something here.
Did you have a question about the heinous murder?
No, but my Pip-Boy did.
Did you have any thoughts about the murder?
If you ask me, it's one of those actors.
Never mind.
Good luck catching the murderer.
So the way that it's pointing me towards Julianne suggests that we have the murderer, but I don't have a reason to accuse her, so I'm gonna do another round. Let's talk to... He was her husband, right? Is her husband?
Did you need something?
Ah, new dialogue.
Have you noticed Juliana acting strangely lately?
Oh, well, I'm probably just being paranoid, but she's been so much more pleasant lately. I mean, it's been nice, but also a bit unnerving. Most people don't really understand us, but I always appreciated how she can just take charge of a situation. It's what allowed me to focus on my research. I'm worried something has happened to her. She doesn't seem like the same person.
You
Oh,
don't
something
say.
else, Detective?
What do you mean? Juliana's not the same person.
My wife has always been a very harsh woman, Detective. I don't know who it is in our rooms, but that is not my wife, Detective.
I think we have a winner. Well, I have a couple further questions for you.
Did you have a question about the heinous murder?
I think you're the real murderer.
That's just silly, Detective. Why would I want to kill Mr. Parker?
I kind of want the experience points from the speech check, but that's a witch hunt question. So let's get straight to the point.
Give it up. I know your secret, Juliana. Or should I say, Ezra?
Well, Detective, that's quite the claim.
It's a shame. I thought I could keep the ruse going a little longer. Oh, well. Had to end eventually, I suppose. This doesn't have to end in more violence, Detective. Just walk away. I'll leave, and you can tell them I escaped.
I want a cut of what you've stolen. No, no, he's just gonna pass me a bunch of caps that I'm gonna have to get rid of.
Why did you kill Juliana?
I hadn't planned on it, but Juliana figured out what I was doing and had to be dealt with
What
swiftly.
exactly were you doing?
Thought I could get a bit more money out of this place
Money.
before making
What do you
my
need
escape.
money for?
What's it going to be, Detective? Join me in getting rich? Or die defending some outdated ideals?
While I don't get the impression that he has any plans of going and killing anyone else.
Not a chance. Your murder spree stops here.
Then let us end this.
You're playing with the wrong sin. Won't underestimate us again.
Ooh, Vault 118 key. I remember seeing a door with regards to...
Suppose someone should
it was
make
cash
use of
money.
it.
Okay, well, before we go and talk to Maxwell, there was a Vault 118 door. So our door is just off the entrance. It's over here. In the terminals, you get a backstory for 118. So the social experiment that they were planning for 118 was they were going to have two sides to the vault. The nice side that we got to see, where there'd be like 10 residents who lived in, well, pretty substantial luxury, or as much luxury as you can get in a vault, at least. And there would be dozens and dozens that live in, well, what isn't completed here. And they were going to be deliberately packed in tight, 5 people to 4-person rooms and all that. Food that's, well, healthy enough. I mean, they wouldn't be starving, but it would definitely not be pleasant to live on. And the people on the nice side of the vault would basically be in charge. They'd get to choose, punishments for any of the fights that inevitably broke out. The whole purpose of this side of the vault was to make it unpleasant enough that there would be confrontation. And then these guys, these let them eat cake type fellows over here, would get to choose what happens to the people who commit whatever they deem are crimes. What eventually happened, though, was someone embezzled all the money.
You picked me up in Vault 114. There are really over 100 of these things?
And this side of the vault never happened. So instead of being forced to live in these terrible conditions, they just got killed by the nukes. So let's go let Maxwell know that we've solved the crime, and I think we can be done with 118. Maxwell, I found your murderer.
I found the killer. It was Ezra. He killed Juliana and took her place to hide his tracks.
My word! I never thought Mr. Parker was capable of something like this. What happened when you confronted him?
Punchy punchy.
Turns out Robo-Brains can eat. And I served him up a heaping helping of
That's
justice.
so bad.
Bravo, I suppose. Here you are, Detective. Payment for your services and a bonus for uncovering such a heinous plot. I don't think we could have done it without you.
Well, you would have had literally hundreds of years to do it. So I imagine eventually you would have figured that one out. Is that our mission complete? That's our mission complete. And that less than 600 XP does not even move us that far up the the XP bar.
That was quite the commotion. Did you need something, Detective? Forgot a personal item at home.
Well, your store, so let's oh, well, there's that level up. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Let's see what you've got.
Something for everyone.
With the shopping done and us headed out of 118, let's see what we can do with this level up. So I'd gone online looking up the Gauss rifle, and apparently with ranks of penetrator, it can actually hit multiple targets in a line. Now it doesn't say that here, but that sounds awfully interesting. So let's go ahead and get these 2 ranks. Well, we'll start with the 1. It appears that the fog has found its way inside. And this would be our Skyrim door. Let us skip having to go through the entire thing to get back to Point Lookout, or point at Far Harbor Pier. Would you call this a fog storm? It's radioactive enough that I'm actually taking damage, and that says a lot. Now I'm not worried about it. That'll all go away as soon as the fog passes. But I'm pretty heavily protected from rads, and yeah, here we are. What I would like to do is... No, not power armor. Oh, hello, settler. Weapons workbench.
I'm gonna run some diagnostics while you're tinkering. Take your time.
Okay, so shielded barrel. Okay, that's a bit more damage. Wait, that's a heck of a lot of damage. Let's go ahead and compare that. So our sniper is 336. This is 653. Keep in mind this is with no adrenaline, so that's why it doesn't come off as all that much. Okay, I think I heard something behind me, but let's worry about what's in front of us. Most notably because I saw a legendary there. Okay, so I think bit of a fight here ahead of us. Oh wow, so much nothing from that fire. I think I'm gonna save a couple VATSITs and do this guy in the old-fashioned way. Relentless shove. How many of these have we got? Whoa. Ooh, a fog crawler. Come on. Oh, this was probably a bad idea. Okay, so I'm getting a whole bunch of map markers. Not sure what those map markers are. Are they my turrets? Okay, that is intimidating as heck. Okay, so it's the fog condensers that value to weight on that is just terrible. Okay, let's get these fog condensers back up because I'm guessing that these waves will keep coming. Not that that's the most terrible thing. This strikes me as an opportune chance to build up some
Out
levels.
here, you gotta take things one day at a time.
Are we gonna get more? We might. No, I'm guessing that's actually it. Alright. So we have one more out here. I'm seeing 2 map markers, but apparently I only have one more fog condenser to go.
Who do you think actually
That
won
could have been
the
a lot
war?
worse. Thanks for
Nobody,
the help.
I guess.
We should be safe enough with the fog condensers all working again.
I don't know why you gave me caps for that. I mean, I kind of live here just the same as anyone.
What the hell is a synth, anyway?
So back to what we were... Relentless shovel. Okay, so we got shielded, standard stock. I don't think recoil's a big issue on this thing. Well, it pushes the accuracy up though, so let's take
Not
that.
enough time.
Half capacitors. Okay, so now we're up to some pretty substantial damage. We're gonna want a scope. Let's see.
If the fog doesn't get us, the storms will.
Well, let's go with one of these recon ones. I mean, we're going with a pretty high-tech doohickey here, so put the recon on. And I'm not really a fan of using suppressors.
The children
I like the action.
Don't trust
So, compensator that boosts accuracy, range 2. Okay. I won't be using it anytime soon. I did manage to pick up a little bit more ammo for it, but I think I only have like 60 rounds for it. And I do still have tons and tons of ammo for my my other gun. So let's reload them. And now, since I basically avoided it this whole time, let's go and meet the people of Far Harbor.
You're from the Commonwealth, right?
Guns, ammo, and souvenirs. Get them while they're in stock.
Captain Avery's all right, I guess.
I could use time. Alone.
Let's start by talking with
to be sure.
the Mariner.
She wouldn't be standing at all if it weren't for you.
Well, I'm glad
They
that I'm
call me
appreciated.
the Mariner, shipwright, handyman, the only one keeping the harbor afloat. Well, beside Captain Avery. Why doesn't anyone help you? Each harborman is the captain of his own ship. Worked fine for generations on the homesteads. Your land, your rules. But when the island pushed them onto my dock, one by one, the ungrateful bastards expect me to look after my land, even though they're squatting on it, like wretches. If it's that bad, why put up with it? I couldn't very well toss them back into the fog, could I?
Yeah, fair enough.
Bad luck, that.
Yeah,
Surely
I
their
agree.
spirits would haunt me to my grave. And that's a fact.
Well, that might not be the reason I would go with, but okay. I want to say town's lucky to have you or a pleasure to meet you. I think she'd take this as more of a compliment.
The town's lucky you're here. You blowing smoke up my sails.
No, apparently not.
But there is... I don't suppose you'd be willing to lend a hand.
I would.
In order to do proper repairs, I need tools. Specialized tools. And they won't be easy to come by. 450 caps if you can, though.
Well, let's ask.
You've kept the walls together this long. Why do you need special tools now? I want to build the hull up proper. Make it strong. And keep those blasted crabs out. For good.
I actually don't want to ask for more caps, so...
Sign me up. I'll help. Eagles Cove Tannery. Tools are certain to be there. Now get.
I like her. Do you have,
Got the guns if you got the caps.
Gauss rifle, ammo?
I'll take a look.
You got it.
He did not.
Bait shop's got it.
Whatever.
How about you?
Stranger, you need odds, ends, junk, or knickknacks. You've come to the right place.
Well, I don't think I need any of those things, but...
Let's see what you have.
Of course.
Well, the 7 rounds for the Gauss rifle he had conveniently
guns,
empties the caps that I'd been given as a mission reward.
I'll be straight with you. It's never easy to ask anyone on this island for help, much less a stranger. But I've got a responsibility to these people, and I have a job for you, if you're up for it. Besides, I know you're tougher than you look.
Yeah, I suppose I am here wearing a full suit.
I'm happy to help with anything I can.
If you say so. We get our drinking water from a purifier not far outside of town. We had a bad storm not long before you got here, and it must have damaged the fog condensers that protect the road to the purifier. I sent Howard Dunbar out to fix them. He was out there when the Mirelurks hit us, and I'm afraid they might have got him, too.
Yeah, that strikes me as pretty
I was hoping
likely.
you might go have a look. If the worst happened, maybe you could get those fog condensers back online. If you're up to it, just head south out of town. It's paying work, of course. I wouldn't ask a stranger to stick their neck out on our behalf, unless I was willing to pay a fair share for it.
Am I gonna need any tools or parts if I have to make these repairs on my own?
The fog condensers need their power modules replaced, but Howard took the only spares we had. Either way, you're gonna have to find him first.
What exactly are these fog condensers? How do they work?
Well, I'm no engineer, but the way it was explained to me, each fog condenser pulls in the air around it and then condenses it into liquid. The point being, the fog doesn't get past them. They make a barrier that protects the town. No fog means that all the nasty things living in it stay in it. They don't venture out too often. The fog's their home, I guess. The fog condensers eat up a lot of power, but we've got a wind farm that takes care of that. As long as the turbines stay charged, we stay safe.
All right. I'll head out there now.
Good. Our water supply won't last much longer.
A lot of people only got the clothes on their back here. Hunter saw flickering lights by Eden Meadows. All unnatural.
You're
Well,
that
your name.
mainlander who just got here. Better watch yourself, because this island sees and hears everything you do. I should know. I watched the island tear down the greatest family that ever set foot in Far Harbor. It's a tale of greed, blood, and vengeance.
What family are you talking about?
I was just about to explain. My family, the Daltons, was the pride of Far Harbor for generations, even back before the war. It was lumber and fishing that made the Daltons rich. But they got greedy, took too much from the island. The island's been getting revenge ever since, killing us off one by one. I'm the last Dalton still standing. But now our story takes an unexpected turn. A mysterious stranger comes to Far Harbor. Someone strong, someone capable. With
Someone
the
well
stranger's
dressed.
help, the last living Dalton finally has a chance to avenge her bloodline once and for all.
Let me guess. I'm the mysterious stranger who's gonna help you avenge your family.
Ah, you're a quick one. Good. You'll need your
That's a
wits
pretty
about
low
you,
bar.
because your part in the story is filled with danger. Now, on to the first chapter in our tale of vengeance. That would be the sad story of freckle-faced Petey. Petey was my cousin. He was a good lad, never caused trouble. He thought all those freckles brought him luck, but, well, not so much. He was out foraging at the National Park campground when the island sicked some feral ghouls on him. Island's a sneaky bastard when it wants to be. Anyway, he made it back to town, but died from his injuries that night. Of course, those ferals are still out there, waiting to kill the next poor fool who comes along.
You mean me?
Damn shame that.
Those ghouls are as good as dead.
Good, good. It's long past time those shamblers paid for what they did to Petey.
The others think I'm nuts to be fishing in this dock. But one day, the big one will be mine. You'll see.
Hi there.
No one talks to my brother, all right?
All right.
Hey, Bertha.
Get lost. I don't need your charity.
You sure?
You still here for some reason?
Apparently not. So it's getting late, but I think I'm in a position to knock out a couple more quests before we call it a night. Let's start out by finding. Can I actually step through here? Settling up this fog condenser situation. Luckily, we have a map marker. So while Avery has no idea what happened to this guy, my Pip-Boy knows exactly where he is. Okay. Well, we'll take the caps. I wonder if you can actually drop caps. Probably not. Well, you might be able to do it at an actual settlement. Drop the caps into the settlement box. That'd be interesting. I'll have to check. Although with my rules, once they go in there, they can't come back out. So I might just hold on to them and try to turn them into caps. Not into caps, into ammo. Alright, with it being a bit more open, we'll have our VATS Guardian up here. Is that the sum total of it? Oh. Well, it says I'm gonna get hit, so...
I don't think we're...
Well, that was easier than expected, so let's go ahead and see if we can do Cassie Dalton's mission as well. That would be up this cliff. I don't know how much success I'm gonna have scaling it, but I'm gonna give it a try. This puts us on the trail that leads to Arcadia, and we're heading to a national park campground of some sort, I think, to hunt down some ghouls. Now, normally I use the punch. I was about to say use the punchy to take these out, and I think that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Assassin's Pipe Wrench. Okay, let's actually see about doing some stealth in here. Oh, you know I'm not getting any map markers. I forgot to ask her where this place was. I did not even see you. Man, that is a cool looking gun. You know there's going to be one in the toilet. Well, something almost sees me, but I don't almost see it. Oh, now we're getting map markers. With one left. Ah, there we go. Oh, did I see first aid kit? Okay, what happens if I... No, I'm not sitting on that. I suppose I could sleep in Vault 118, but I would rather finish the day at Longfellow's cabin, so I can drop off the junk that I forgot to drop off when I was there before. As long as I'm here, might as well see if I can do something about the food situation. Oh, I got a bunch of iguana bits. That does a pretty good job of taking care of it. Mutant Hound chops will be breakfast.
Whoa.
I'd rather hold on to the Mirelurk
That's some firepower there.
And I've moved a couple creature comforts into my room, and apparently also Longfellow's room, but Longfellow's not here anymore, so my room. Let's go ahead and drop off the junk. So that takes me down to a little over 200 pounds carried, which includes a relentless shovel. I think we can safely say that there's not much time left to do anything this day, so I will have to see you tomorrow.